जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंदा
Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Adi Lila, chapter number 5, text number 42. Tanhayera mera rupa maha sankarshana chakti ashratin ho karanera karana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There, in the spiritual sky, the personal feature of Balaram, called Maha Sankarshana, is the shelter of the spiritual energy. He is the primary cause, the cause of all causes. Text number 43. Chitta Chakti Vilasa Eka Shuddha Sattva Nama Shuddha Sattva Maya Yata Vaikuntadi Dhama. One variety of the pastimes of the spiritual energy is described as pure goodness or Vishuddha Sattva. It comprises all the abodes of Vaikuntha. Text 44. Shadda Vidheshwarya Tanha Sakala Chinmaya Sankarshanera Vibhuti Saba Janiha Nishchaya. The six attributes are all spiritual. Know for certain that they are all manifestations of the opulence of Sankarshana. Text 45. Jiva Nama Tathasthakya Eka Shakti Haya Mahasankarshana Saba Jivera Ashraya. There is one marginal potency known as the Jiva. Mahasankarshana is the shelter of all Jivas. Text 46. Yanha haite Vishvotpati Yana hate Pralaya Sei Purushera Sankarshana Samashraya. Sankarshana is the original shelter of the Purusha, from whom this world is created and in whom it is dissolved. Text 47. Sarvashraya Sarvadbhuta Aishwarya Apara Ananta Kahite Nare Mahima Yanhara. He, Sankarshana, is the shelter of everything. He is wonderful in every respect, and his opulences are infinite. Even Ananta cannot describe his glory. 48. Turiya Vishuddha Sattva Sankarshana Nama Tinho Yanra Amsha Sei Nityananda Rama. That Sankarshana, who is transcendental pure goodness, is a partial expansion of Nityananda Balaram. Excuse me, text 49. Ashtama Shlokera Kaila Sankeshepa Vivarna Navama Shlokera Artha Shuna Diyamana. I have briefly explained the 8th verse. Now please listen with attention as I explain the 9th verse. Text 50. Maya Bharat Janda Sangharshayam Gaha Sheti Sakshat Karanam Bodhi Madhye Yasyai Kamashah Shri Puman Adi Devas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. Translation. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation called Karunodakshay Vishnu, lying on the Karana ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. Last verse for today. 51. Vaikuntha bahire ye jyotirmaya dhama tahara bahire karanava nama. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Outside the Vaikuntha planets is the impersonal Brahman effulgence, and beyond that effulgence is the Karana ocean or causal ocean. We'll cover the purport in the class. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna to all of you, and thank you for coming for today's class, Sri Caitanya Charitamrta. So this chapter is called Transcendental Position of Lord Balram, who is none other than Lord Nityananda. And from all the verses that we've been covering in this chapter, we see we are getting knowledge about Shankarshana and Mahasankarshana. So Mahasankarshana is the spiritual energy. He is the original spiritual master, and he is the one who can help us reach Krishna, to go back to Godhead, to Krishna Loka. So Prabhupada explains in his long purport in verse number 51 also that there is no difference between Krishna and Shankarshana, Krishna and Mahashankarshana, Krishna and Lord Nityananda, Krishna and Lord Balram. They are the same, and both of them are the cause of all causes. What is that verse we learn which says about cause of all causes? And that is Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam, that he is the cause of all causes. Unfortunately, we think we are the cause of everything that we do. Right? But then there's the other extreme. If Krishna is the cause of all causes and he's doing everything, I don't need to do anything. Let him do everything. Let him do the cooking and let him do offering everything and just give us and let him feed us also. No, that is not what it means. So Prabhupada explains that we all are jivas, means living entities, the spiritual spark, the spiritual spirit soul. And we have heard many times, we are the marginal potency, right? Excuse me. So marginal means we can go up or we can go down, spiritual or material. So we are in between the marginal potency, and Mahasankarshana is our shelter. So if we want to progress in spiritual life, then we need to meditate and worship on Lord Shankarshana or Mahashankarshana. Of course, we have the choice and we can decide, just like when we go to the grocery store, we have a choice, right? What to buy. There are different kinds of vegetables and fruits and different kinds of cheese available, milk available. So we make the choice. On what basis do we make the choice? Our liking and taste, budget, requirement, nutrition, knowledge. Knowledge is necessary. How will we know about nutrition? And, we will know only when we understand, when we look at the ingredients, right? What I learned was if you read the ingredients and you're unable to read, don't buy it. If you don't understand what are the ingredients, don't buy it. So knowledge is very, very important. And that's why we have these classes, so we can get knowledge, we can understand what our choices should be in our, at least in our spiritual lives. And if we decide, yes, I do want to go on this spiritual path and I want to progress. We don't want to be on a plateau. It's called plateau, right? That, okay, in the beginning it's like zoom, it goes up like, oh, chanting, reading, prashadam, this, that. And then after a while, then we become complacent. Is that the right word? We become, yes, then it becomes mechanical because we are on a plateau. And we feel that I have the protection, of Guru and Krishna. No, I don't need to do anything else. Chalte jao, just keep going, keep going, keep going. Not keep going, let's keep pushing ourselves, pushing ourselves. We have to keep going up, up, and up. So, if that is our case, then we need to follow the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That would require seriousness and sincerity. So if we want to progress, then just like in our day-to-day lives, say like I wanted to learn how to make millet roti, so I went to the one who knows how to do it, right? And take a video and see how is it made, what is the procedure. Just like, gunda frying atta, putting millet water and all, it doesn't work like that. There is a process, right? Knowledge is there, experience is there, demonstration is there. That's how we learn. So similarly, if we want to improve, then we need to find out what is the process. Meditate on it. Okay, what are the areas that I'm lacking in? Am I not reading enough? Am I not chanting attentively? Am I not doing this? Am I not doing that? Just every day we get the realizations of Guru Maharaj, yes? Right? We get so many realizations. So in that, what is there? Just his instructions, what we need to do. So meditate on that and see where am I lacking so that I can improve. And if we feel confused, sometimes the mind plays tricks, yes or no? Mind will say, you're a first class devotee. You don't need to do anything else. You're doing everything that is possible or everything that is in your capacity or your ability. But then we can take guidance from senior devotees. So, Lord Shankarshana, if we want his shelter, he's ready to give the shelter. But he's waiting for our first step to be taken. And Prabhupada says he's the original shelter of everything and everyone. Original. That means we don't need to find shelter anywhere else. And the verse also describes him as wonderful in every respect. And his opulences are infinite, like opulences of Krishna, because there's no difference between Krishna and Lord Shankarshana or Mahashankarshana. Also, Prabhupada talks about in his purport that Lord Ananta, even the verse we read, Lord Ananta, has been trying to glorify, not trying, he's glorifying the Supreme Lord since time immemorial, and he's still not finished. So, how can we finish glorifying Krishna in 1 hour a day, or 2 hours a day, or whatever lifetime we have? It's impossible. Just like we've heard that Srimati Radharani, she's the best cook. Do you agree? She's the best cook. And she is preparing how many items every day for Krishna? 108. And she never repeats it. Can you imagine? Since time immemorial, she's been cooking for the Lord and she's never repeated a dish. And we, at least I just know maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 dishes. That's it. And then keep repeating Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Just keep repeating. But that is Srimati Radha Rani. So Lord Ananta, he has not yet glorified the Lord completely. He's still continuing to glorify. So just as this chapter is entitled Glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. And Nityananda Balram, Prabhupada explains that this Shankarshana is a partial expansion of Nityananda Balram, just a partial expansion. And this Lord Nityananda, this Shankarshana, this Mahashankarshana can help us to go to the Supreme Lord. Excuse me, if our goal is to reach Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, Lord Nityananda, Lord Balaram, then this is the process given to us through Srila Prabhupada. Now, in one of the verses that we read, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining that I have explained to you up to verse number 8. Now I'm going to explain verse number 9 from now on. Now, what is there that we are going to learn new from verse number 9. He says, Lord Nityananda Balaram or Ram, he is a partial representative of Lord Nityananda, but his partial expansion is Karunodakshayi Vishnu, whom also we call as Maha Vishnu. And this Karunodakshayi Vishnu is lying on a Karana ocean, which is also called causal ocean. He is the original Purusha, and he is a master of the illusory energy, which is called Maya. Yesterday or day before, I met someone who said, my name is Maya. And I'm like, I need to make an about turn and go somewhere else. I remember when I had gone to Kerala for the treatment, there was this lady from Switzerland, and she said, my name is Maya. So I thought, well, let me preach to Maya. So I would sit with her on the dining table, for lunch and dinner, and we would exchange conversations. She had a little idea about Bhagavad Gita. So imagine preaching to Maya. That was her name. I found that very hilarious. And she so proudly said, my name is Maya. So Krishna is the master of illusory energy, and he's the shelter of all universes. And he's talking about Karunodakshayi Vishnu, who is also an expansion of Lord Shri Krishna. So what does he do? When we hear that he's the shelter of all universes, that means he's the one who creates universes, right? He's the one who creates. And how? We learn this in Bhagavad Gita. Just by glancing over material nature. That's about it. All that is needed is a glance. To discipline the children, what is needed? Just a glance. That's a good one. Good glance, not a casual glance. That won't work. Just a firm glance. So here, Karunodakshayi Vishnu, he creates just by glancing at material nature. And he creates universes, but neither Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan nor Lord Narayana in Vaikuntha, none of them come in direct contact with this creation. They stay aloof. And we learn this also in the Bhagavad Gita. They do not directly come in contact with material creation, and they stay aloof. Now, material nature, then how is it connected to the Lord? Through the glance. Just that. And just by that connection, she is impregnated by the Supreme Lord with the energy from the glance of the Supreme Lord, and creation takes place. Now, Maya, it is said, Prabhupada says, Maya does not touch the causal ocean where Karunodakshayi Vishnu is laying down. So from this, we can understand the position of Maya, the illusory energy. And when the Supreme Lord Karunodakshayi Vishnu glances over material nature, at that time, there is an agitation in the cosmic energy. And that's how the creation, because the action starts beginning with this agitation, and the whole creation takes place. So Prabhupada says that the matter by itself has no power. It's only by the glance of the Supreme Lord that it gets the power to start the creation. That is what he explains. And this happens by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada in his purport gives a nice example of a woman's conception, right? How does that happen? It's not by glancing. That doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen by glancing. You sit here and sit there, let's look at each other, and boom, there is conception. No, it doesn't happen like that. The father puts his energy within the mother, and then she conceives, and the mother supplies the ingredients necessary for the growth of the child in the womb. So similarly, the Supreme Lord, he activates the material nature, and the material nature supplies all the ingredients that are required for the cosmic development. This is how the creation takes place. We've learned this in simple terms in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So Krishna is the direct cause of material creation, but the material nature is the indirect cause, right? Material nature is just providing the ingredients. But those who do not believe in the Supreme Lord and his energies, they uh, they uh, they don't know the real potency of Krishna. They don't understand that it's just by the glance that the whole material creation takes place. No. Then what do? They use word jugglery, use some nice flowery words of the Vedas. They don't use the word of Vedas, but just like it is explained in Bhagavad Gita, that people get attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas. But no, here they start using, juggle with the words so that they can convince everyone there is no God, like make it a godless civilization, Prabhupada says. There is no God. Everything happens by chance. Like what is that called? Big Bang Theory? Big Bang Theory. There was a big bang and boom, there was creation. No, because they don't have knowledge. And Prabhupada says same is with the scientists, because they don't believe in God. I remember we were somewhere flying somewhere in India, and you know how Prabhuji is, Git Govind Prabhu. He always carries books with him and he's ready to start talking about Krishna. So the person sitting next to him, he started talking to him. And that person got so angry. He said, I'm a scientist, he said, which means I don't believe in God. Don't talk to me about God and Bhagavad Gita. No, 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 no. And he was very proud that he was a scientist. But still, Prabhupada said, okay, just take a free book. Never know, you might read sometime. No, I am a scientist. This is what Prabhupada says, that scientists, they are very proud of their knowledge, what they have. They are proud of their position as a scientist. I remember when we were living in Doraville decades ago, we used to have a class, and I met a couple in the temple. There was this Panihati festival going on, and I happened to be at the reception. We had a table outside just before the entrance to the temple, and I met this couple. The wife was very interested, but the husband was, like you say, nakchada, like the nose in the air kind of. So I managed to talk to the wife to come to our Bhagavad Gita class. And she convinced her husband, maybe she was a controller in the house. She convinced her husband and they came for the Bhagavad Gita class. And the first thing he declared was, I am a scientist. So don't preach to me, don't talk to me about anything. I am a scientist. Guess what? His wife convinced him to keep coming every week for the Bhagavad Gita class. And then finally, he got initiated by Guru Maharaj. His name was Raktavarahada. And the wife could not get initiated. She passed away before initiation. Oh. Yes, she had got meningitis and she passed away within few hours, I think. But she was the one who convinced him for initiation. They both were the ones who drove Geet Govind and I in their car to Washington, D.C. from Atlanta. So many hours. So that they could meet Guru Maharaj and get a connection. I'm a scientist. In the beginning, he was very upset. Because I think one time Geet Govind talked about Jawaharlal Nehru or something in his class. He was really mad. I'm a scientist. And I am a worshipper of Nehru. So you see, Srila Prabhupada's books can change anybody. Anybody. But here, Prabhupada is saying the scientists, they do not believe in the Supreme Lord. And most of them do not know what is the real goal of life. They don't know. We are those fortunate ones who have access to Krishna consciousness. We have access to Srila Prabhupada's books, right? But those who don't know their real goal in life, or at least of this human form of life, they are running to get satisfaction. And why are they running? Even though they have been a materialistic person for so many years, is because that satisfaction is temporary. Today they are satisfied, tomorrow there's something else they want. So there is no self-sufficiency also. So Prabhupada says that they do not understand how this material nature works, and they do not know that this material nature is self-sufficient by the grace of Krishna. It was all the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And how? Because Krishna is the direct cause of this material nature. Even the modes of material nature cannot activate. They have to be activated by Krishna. Even these modes, right? Goodness, passion, and ignorance, they have to be activated by the Supreme Lord. So, Srila Prabhupada, excuse me, in his purport, gives a nice example of electricity. Now, electricity is transmitted through copper, right? Copper is not electricity. Copper is just the via media, right? So similarly, the power is generated in the powerhouse, and there is an expert who is controlling that powerhouse, right? It doesn't happen on its own. Just like a child thinks a plane is flying on its own, because the child cannot see the pilot inside the plane. So the child thinks, oh, it's flying on its own. So similarly, Prabhupada explains that power is generated at powerhouse, and there's a mechanical engineer in the powerhouse. So Krishna is that main engineer of this whole creation. Another example Prabhupada gives is of a potter. A potter makes a clay pot, right? There is clay, there are tools, there is that wheel, that potter's wheel is there. But who is the main cause? Is it the clay? Is it the tools? Is it the wheel? No, it is the potter who is giving shape to the clay by using those tools. So similarly, Lord Narayana is the chief cause of all material creations, and without him, there is no other cause. Everything else is useless. Just like the tools, the clay, everything is useless until and unless there is a potter. So, unfortunately, the materialistic people and the scientists, they do not believe in the Supreme Lord, and that is why there is godless civilization. How many people are there in this city of Atlanta? And how many are sitting here? You see? That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschiditati sadhai. Out of thousands, only one will try for perfection. And out of thousands who have attained perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. And who are those people who come to this process of Krishna consciousness? Bahunam janmanamante jnanavanma. How you see, after many births, after accumulating a lot of piety, one gets the opportunity to come to bhakti yoga. So it's not cheap, it is not easily available, it is very rare. Very rare to come to Krishna consciousness, to understand who is the Supreme Lord, to understand that he is the cause of all causes. This is what I learn from my husband every day. Anything happens, good or bad, Krishna's mercy. I banged my car, Krishna's mercy. The first question was, did you get banged? you're fine, right? That's the difference between body and soul. Body is like the car. We are that passenger within the heart, the spirit soul. So everything is the cause of the Supreme Lord. Of course, our karma plays in whatever we have sowed, that is what we are going to reap. If I have sowed lemons, I cannot get mangoes. There's no way. I will definitely get. If I have sowed karelas, I'm going to get karelas. I'm not going to get, you know, watermelon or cantaloupe. No. So here, Prabhupada is explaining that one who understands the Supreme Lord perfectly, he is a Mahatma. So Mahatma, Sudurlabha. That Mahatma also is very rare. What is Mahatma? Maha means great. Atma means great soul. Great soul. Very, very rare. So we see that these verses, they are describing about the Karana Dakshai Vishnu, and who is an expansion of Krishna. So it's important to even hear about these pastimes so that we take on the knowledge and we remove all the doubts. What do we learn in India? Krishna comes from Vishnu. Isn't that common? Mm-hmm. Krishna comes from Vishnu. That is what even I had learned in India. But from the scriptures, we come to know no, Vishnu comes from Krishna. So, all these verses that we are reading in this chapter are giving us knowledge so that we can remove our doubts and so that we can also give this knowledge to others. Whenever someone tells us, no, Krishna comes from Vishnu, we show the references from the scriptures. Why are the references there? They are there so that we can explain it to others. First, we get convinced, remove our doubts, and then explain it to others. Now, in verse number 51 that we read, it talks about the Brahman effulgence. Brahma Jyoti is outside Vaikuntha. It's not inside, it's outside Vaikuntha. And beyond that is the Karana ocean, which is also called causal ocean. And this ocean lies between the material and spiritual skies. That is how we can visualize, right? Spiritual, material, Karana ocean, the causal ocean. And the material nature is a byproduct of this Karana ocean. How come? Because Karuna Dakshai Vishnu is glancing at the material nature. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came 538 years ago to give us this knowledge so that we can remove the ignorance that we may have. And he also came to ignite the spiritual spark within us. Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is within us, but we have forgotten. And now, with the help of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions, Srila Prabhupada's and Guru's instructions, we are able to reignite that. We are able to, what is that word Srila Prabhupada uses?
Revive.
Revive. Revive our dormant Krishna consciousness. And very nice example given by Srila Prabhupada is that an iron rod has no heat or light in it. But when it's put in fire, it gets that property of fire, right? Heat and light. When you touch it, you can burn yourself, right? Same is with us. When we come in Krishna consciousness, we get Krishnized. So every morning then when we wake up, it would be nice if we can be grateful to Srila Prabhupada, grateful to the spiritual master that I've got one more day to be Krishna conscious. Not I have many years to be Krishna conscious, because we never know, right? When is going to be the last moment. So now that we have this access to this knowledge about Krishna, about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, then if we associate with devotees, then we will be able to progress easily. Now one may say, I live so far away, how can I associate? What do you think is the best way to associate if there are no devotees around? Yes.
Reading
Virtual
books
books, reading lectures.
Yes, virtual, Zoom,
and
reading
listening to
Srila Prabhupada's
lectures.
book.
Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada's books, that's how we associate with Srila Prabhupada. When we read the realizations of the spiritual master, we are associating with the spiritual master. Yes.
I just thought only what has worked for me personally, Mother, is also if I am alone, uh, try to create more devotees instead of
Yes.
looking, because in the process of introducing new people to Krishna consciousness,
Mhm.
our own process gets much stronger and
Yes.
more concrete in terms
And you
of
know
daily
why?
practice.
Because that pleases Krishna.
Hmm.
And when Krishna is pleased, we get the mercy. You see, we read in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, that those who give the knowledge of the Supreme Lord to others, they are most dear to Him. Most dear. And that's how we get the mercy. And that pleases Guru also. Guru is very pleased when we preach. It's like if I have a severe headache for years and years and years and I found a cure, and when I see someone else with the same headache, what do?
Tell them the
I share my medicine with them so that they also can get relief. Because now I know what relief looks like. No headache, right? So similarly, to remove the ignorance of others, we should try and give this knowledge to others and also meditate on the daily quotes of the spiritual master that we get every day. You see, I'm going to read some of them that for the past few days he has given. He says, determination is necessary for spiritual progress. Even if difficulties, do not give up devotional service. Always remain humble and offer respect to all. Then you will never go wrong. How powerful, right? He says, one must check one's temperature. How healthy am I? How to determine that? A very simple formula he gives. He says when material desire is going down, then we can say spiritual temperature is good. We are spiritually healthy. This is his formula. He says, dedicate mind, body, and words to Krishna for his pleasure. If you execute devotional service in this mentality, then you are on the Vaikuntha platform. We don't need to go to Vaikuntha to be in Vaikuntha. We can be in Vaikuntha, like he used to many times tell us in Mumbai when he would come to our program, he would say, make your house Vrindavan, because I used to keep singing a song, I want to go to Vrindavan, I want to go to Vrindavan, when we were living in Mumbai. He said, make your house Vrindavan. And my husband had a big smile on his face. No need to go. Make this house Vrindavan. So he's saying, if we execute devotional service in this mentality, we are on the Vaikuntha platform. And if anyone comes in contact with such devotees, they will also get injected with seed of devotional service. And that's what preaching does. Injecting Krishna consciousness in others. Then Guru Maharaj says, one can make the whole place Vaikuntha by dedicating mind, body, and words to the Supreme Lord. Firm faith means faith in Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. And he says, material impurities are taking us away from Krishna. Destroy impurities by surrendering to Krishna, by constantly chanting attentively and with sincerity. Then he says, finally, please follow rigid sadhana at home. Now my question is, what is rigid sadhana? Yes. Morning program. And recently he also, one realization was posted where Guru Maharaj says that one should do Mangal Aarti in the house every day. Does anyone remember anything else?
4:30. If not possible, then at 5.
Yes, at 4:30, if not possible, by 5:30, not when I wake up. So he has given us a deadline. 5:30 is the deadline for doing Mangal Aarti. Preferably 4:30. If not, Then 5:30 in the morning, that is Rija sadhana, chanting attentively in the morning, like Mataji said, in the morning, chanting attentively, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, following 4 regulative principles very strictly, right? And then he says, otherwise, not possible to make spiritual advancement. Very clear. Read daily, associate with devotees, and work cooperatively. These are his instructions. So if we meditate on these instructions, then spiritual progress is guaranteed. Now, that doesn't mean just meditate and sit quiet. Meditate means then put it into practice. So this is how we end at verse number 51. So if anyone has any questions or comments, you are welcome to ask.
Just a thought I got when you told you met Maya. I was just thinking whether she was Mahamaya or Yogi Maya.